This is Big Funny TV. What I learned from the Zimmerman trial, if you're black, you can't dress for the weather, you gotta dress for the racism in the area. And the only safe outfit is MC Hammer pants and the Bill Cosby sweater. Because then you're not the suspect, you're Sinbad, and he's the safest brother in the world to a bigot, a brother with freckles. Enjoy Thinking Out Loud with Travis, Episode 1, Season 1 with Rick Overton.
Hey, this is Rick Overton, and this is the It's Your Fault for Listening Network. Up next, Talking Out Loud with Travis Simmons.
Hey, can you hear me?
I hear you fine.
Rick. All right.
Hi, Trav.
Okay, technology. Hey, buddy. All right.
Hey, man.
This is Speaking Out Loud, Episode 1, Season 1 on the It's Your Fault for Listening Network. Today, my guest is Rick Overton, artist, writer, actor, comedian. Rick Overton was head writer of the Dennis Miller Show on HBO. He's
I was not head writer. I was a writer, but not head writer, but I was on the staff. I was on staff, not head writer. Eddie Feldman was head wrter, but I was very grateful to be on the staff back when we were going more leftward. But yeah. So how are you, sir?
I am wonderful. How are you, sir?
I'm okay. You know, I think I'm pretty. I hear you. Can you hear me? You hear me? Hello.
Yeah, you're okay. Yes. Yes. Hello. Rick.
Hello. Hello. I'm right here. I hear you. All right.
Okay, great. Okay, good. All right. Okay, now that we've done that, you said you're okay. Why just okay, and why not wonderful or spectacular or anything else?
Oh, I don't know. Sure, switch it to spectacular. Call it whatever you want. Okay. I'm grateful to be here every single day that I exist, you know. I mean, and thinking of what people are going through and the comparison of what I'm going through, I'm very grateful. I'm just grateful, you know. I know I caught a long array of breaks, and I'm trying to pass some of them on and leave a little something for another generation.
That's beautiful. Okay, well, let's leave something for the next generation. I have some questions for you. We're just thinking out loud. This is unscripted. Rick does not know I'm about to ask this question. My first question to Rick Overton, whose mind I appreciate and whose mind time I am always thankful for. My first question to you is, for our audience, what is the difference to you of white privilege versus white supremacy?
It's probably in the application.
What do you mean by that?
Both of them have the core of the sense of privilege, and it's what they do about it when they think they have it.
Okay. Very interesting. Next question. I have noticed something really horrible, or something that really horrible was brought to my attention. I want you to try to explain why. I went golfing with some high school basketball teammates, and they informed me that one of our teammates, the coach's son, is in some video accosting Black Lives Matter protesters. So my question is, how are people who think they're white, how are they weaponized into being so angry that they would go to attack a peaceful protester? I just don't understand how somebody could be there in their mind.
Yeah.
What do you think?
You know what I think?
I'm asking you to speak for all white people.
I think comfort is an addiction, and it's such a powerful addiction that anyone that threatens your comfort, which is really what it all represents, Whether it was slavery, it was because someone else wanted the comfort of not doing that work. Well, invent an army, invent police, invent all the things that make others do that other thing for the Pharaoh-minded person. Not the fair-minded, the Pharaoh-minded person. The Pharaoh-minded person believes themselves to be superior and capable of unimaginable things to others to make them do what the Pharaoh wants. And some version of that has trickled down through every culture. To be the person, the alpha person invents a way to make a religion, make whatever it takes. Make heaven, make hell, make a devil, make a savior, all the things that are required to manipulate everybody's beliefs just so they'll build you stuff and keep you comfortable. That's how dangerous an addiction comfort is. And they will cut you. They'll kill you if you threaten it. They'll do whatever it takes to make you shut up. Like a junkie with a knife, they'll kill you. Even though you could be trying to help them in the long run, they'll fucking kill you.
Brilliant. Brilliantly said. I could not expect a better answer to the first question on thinking out loud. Okay, great. Next question would be is how are people who think they're white because like James Baldwin said, no one's really white. White's a moral choice. How are people who think they're white weaponized into being violent rather than just, talking shit? You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing. Yeah. It's a long-ass question, but here, I want to get to something specific. I went down to CHOP, which was the protest area here in Seattle.
I know. Geez, you're in the middle of the war zone there, huh?
That's what it would appear by the news, that it was a war zone. But if you were actually there, it was like a cookout. There were people just sitting around the soccer field, talking, just trying to figure out what to do. They were passing out food and water. I was walking around dressed in like a full-length Darth Vader outfit. I didn't, tell people who I was. I didn't make it about me. I just heard that the Joker was in New York at a protest, and Batman was in Philadelphia with smoke, and they had a skinny Spider-Man somewhere. And so I just thought, well, Seattle gets Vader. And I went down there, and it was peaceful inside. And outside that area, you'd have like the little borders, and you have the news would stay outside that area. And I was wondering, why were they doing that? But back to my question. My question is, so we got a political thing going on here. We got Fox News. We got the Democracy Now! How does somebody get in their mind to go down to a peaceful protest and protest the protesters that are peacefully protesting? A guy came down there and he was acting weird. Like, he offered me some weed. I said no. I'm not take it. It could be poison. And he said, I started talking about. I said to them, it was a little group session. I said to them, nobody here has the courage of Harriet Tubman. Nobody could do what she did. Over 10 years, she made 19 trips on foot. And I was like, nobody here had that courage. And then this guy says, well, she was in the wars. And I said, what wars? He said, she was down by the river. I said, what river? I said, why did you interrupt me with that? What are you doing? And he said, and he got us, maybe I should leave. I said, well, maybe you should. And he got to the left, and then a big, fat, black man that was like kind of holding court on the other side of this little area, he said to me, that guy the other day said that black people don't have as much rights as dogs. And I said to him, I said, motherfucker, why don't you tell me that shit when he sat down next to me? Why did you let me sit next to him, have him offer me stuff to ingest without knowing that information? So my question is, Why would somebody who thinks black people, well, first of all, where would he get that black people don't have the rights of dogs? And secondly, how would somebody have the mentality to go down to a peaceful protest and attack protesters?
Well, what do you think the odds are that these guys are all homeschooled?
Very good.
Without any public checks and balances system. So you get a weird checks and balances when you go to a school with other kids because of the other kids and their parents and the influence of their parents and the influence of the other teachers. But if you're homeschooled, it's a dictatorship of information. There's no variance. There's no other opinions. It's a laser beam straight one thing. And whoever got the wheel of that, if they're sane, maybe it's okay. But if they're nuts, they're going to produce someone at their most imprintable, easy to influence age and make them immutably locked in place as a sort of, violent spot or whatever it takes, Say the opposite of everything everyone else was taught. They'll say that Jesus wanted you to kill people. You can say whatever. You can worship whatever when you're in the house. And remember, don't tell anybody when you get out of the house. This is our secret, right? And, so stuff like that. I think that there could be miles and miles of that.
You're right. Oh, wow. You're right. So if you don't know that things are different elsewhere, you think that your immediate world is similar to the outside world, or everybody's doing what you're doing, right? So, like, if somebody can tell you something that's true,
whatever your mommy and daddy said was right. This is what's right, and that's what's wrong. And that the little kid version of that in your head can guide you through, well into what you should have called your adulthood. But it might actually not be adulthood at all, no matter how big and old you get.
Right, because to not understand that we are all 99.99% the same. If you're looking at the DNA level, I was watching a thing on genes and said that the part of your DNA that decides on, we're all very much, we're saying that I think the only difference is like 1/100%. And inside that 100% difference is what you are allergic to. The biggest part is what you are allergic to based on where your ancestors came from. So I was going to explain this simply. If an Eskimo went down to Louisiana or Mississippi, one of those mosquitoes might kick her ass because she has no defense for that, built up through, passed down from ancestors. Right? And so, and it was explained that we're all 9.99% the same. So if that is true, and that means that we're very not different. You know what I mean? Like if some aliens came from another planet, they really wouldn't be differentiating between Filipinos and Puerto Ricans.
Right.
You know what I mean? Right, if you're coming from someplace else, they look, and we're just skin bags for water. Okay. Next. Okay.
So much of it is. So I'm just saying, a lot of it is taught. This is, and you've heard the old thing. It's hatred's taught, but they say it like it's an abstraction, and I'm saying no, it's literally taught, like in a classroom, except the classroom is a kitchen table.
You know what? I think you're right. Because one of the things that's bothered me lately is, I guess my question would be, is how difficult it is as a person who talks about political things to have a conversation, let alone an argument, with someone who has different information, misinformation, is underinformed or ill-informed on purpose.
That's this is data wars, Star Wars, Move over. This is data wars. This is where my source of data is better than your source of data. It's the same battles that in the 1400s would have been fought over whose god is better or whose shogun is superior, you know?
Better.
What?
Mm-hmm. I said priests do a basic job. Priests, preachers, pastors. Their job is to brag whose God is better. I mean, that's part of their job description, I would think.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. It's part and parcel. That's part of how you get your rent paid. You're salespersons. They're all salespeople.
Yes, Ingersoll, one of my favorite Ingersoll quotes is, ministers say they teach charity. This is natural. They live off charity. All beggars teach that others should give. Robert Greene Ingersoll.
Very true.
He also, thank you. He also said, why don't, he asked the question, why don't churches trust each other? Because they know each other. Robert Greene Ingersoll. I think I'm gonna do that throughout different episodes. I'm just making this as we go along. For those of you who don't know, the last couple sentences by Rick Overton was really rough for me because Rick over last week Tuesday was talking to me about the reason for this show. Period. Is that I sent Rick a copy of Black and Blue version 4, take 7 of me doing Louis Armstrong doing the activism song, reprise of a song. And he said, and he wrote me back and said, you know, the impressions you're doing, I did like Louis Armstrong, Red Fox, and James Earl Jones as Darth Vader. And he said, you know, those impressions you're doing are 20 to 80 years old, and they all have estates. And I was like, damn, checkmate. He said, well, why don't you do a show where you ask questions, do an interview show, and that way you can not do, hide behind the impressions. But Rick Overton just said it's Data Wars, it's Star Wars, and he just said Star Wars is somebody who's trying not to do Darth Vader, so now I'm going to have to do it. Does that make sense?
Oh, no. What box have I... Go, take it away. Take it away. James Earl Jones.
This is Thinking Out Loud, Season 1, Episode 1, with Rick Overton, a writer from HBO's Dennis Miller Show. You don't know the power of an artist, activist, comedian with a thinking mind like Rick Overton. How's that?
That's pretty accurate, man. It's spot on. It sounds like a digital match, and if voice match people need some old school Vader, you contact Travis Simmons. If ILM or Lucasfilm need a match, say the word.
Yeah, I might do it. Somebody asked me about doing the voice of the video games because James Earl Jones won't do it, and I said no.
Yeah,
because my thought was the video game's already addictive. If I did it and really made the voice, because people said the guy said people are complaining that Vader on the video game don't sound like James Earl Jones, and they said, well, why don't you do it? I said, well, I thought about it for a couple minutes, and I was like, well, the video games are addictive. If I did it, it might make it more addictive. I don't want to do that shit. My karma couldn't take it. And the guy said to me, he said, it's already addictive. You would just make it more entertaining. And I said, you almost got me.
Well,
you almost got me, right? Now, another brother, Rick,
but you do use the voice a lot.
You don't know how much I use this voice. Rick, I went down to the protest as Darth Vader. Okay, as Darth Vader, people are chanting a bunch of shit. I grab a megaphone, and I grab it, and I go, silence yourselves. And they did. And then I recited a poem from memory my father wrote 3 days previous. It took me 3 days to memorize it. This was the poem. This is about 1 minute and 20 seconds. Bear with me. This is the poem. Nearly 50 years passed, King dreamed, free at last. Yet and still against King's will, 400 years, and oceans of tears. We tilled your soil and picked your fields. We built the cars and milled the steel. We danced and sang, enriched your lives. At every turn, we felt your knives. We fought in wars, defending rights we were never given. With all we've done to make things better, we're just barely living. Today, we grieve the void of a black human being, George Floyd, whose fatal sin was his dark skin. Same old story again and again. His life taken by those sworn to protect and serve. A travesty no family should expect nor deserve. With a lack of empathy and no hint of sympathy, Mr. Floyd's life was snuffed out and taken in an evil blur as he cried for his mama and called his killers sir. We must stay strong and get along to build a better land. If we remain divided and hate each other, our nation will not stand. And I just walked the fuck away. Didn't say I was the big funny Travis S1E1, said nothing about me, just walked away.
That's a very powerful piece.
It's scary. Thank you. Tell me what you think about the piece my father, B. Clay, wrote.
I think it sums up in so many ways the disparate horror of something we're kind of blasé about and don't know what to do anything about it. We're too scared to know what to do about. That there's such a terrifying, violent, dangerous, irrational force that can snap on you at any second, and that you'd be next. It sort of reminds me of the first they came for. First they came for the gypsies, you know. And that then layer by layer, that's how you get stripped away. And everything, every bit of this is a test. Someone is watching the responses of every single part of this. It's
Rick, I stopped doing comedy after one night. It was like I was doing Lyft, and this cop followed me around at like 3 o'clock in the morning for like 7-8 blocks. And after that, I decided that I was not going to go drive up some rural area, make some people laugh, and then worry about how and whether or not I was going to be, pulled over and executed by a vampire bigot in blue wearing the badge in the middle of the night or daylight. I wasn't going to do that anymore.
Yeah, I'm glad you're okay, man. And that is the mighty, the cell phone camera is the musket of the 21st century.
It is, except for one thing, Rick. Cameras don't matter when you're black. That was one of the phrases I thought was better than Black Lives Matter. I forgot the other ones. Cameras don't matter when you're black. You only think you're white. And I forgot the other three that I thought were better.
Well, I've seen that there's been police getting fired and stuff like that because finally it's not an anecdote. There's finally proof footage of their crimes. But of course, I know that's from my perspective. I know the thing is not enough is done about it once the footage is revealed.
How about this? I think I have a solution. You tell me if this solution might work. The solution I think would work is, this comes from Dick Gregory. I'm going to kind of update it a little bit. I think what he said was, you got to give them something. You got to give them something. And so what we're going to have to give them for them to stop executing black people in daylight like it's their right, a birthright, of their Joker genes, Genes, is, what about we get LeBron James and the NBA players who want to figure out what to do and they got cash? How about they put up an annuity where if any cop after their 20 years or whatever, even 10 years of policing, of protecting and serving, if they don't kill any niggas, then they get $1 million.
Yeah.
If they don't kill any random innocent niggas, they get $1 million.
It talks to the lizard brain.
As simple as that. You said what?
It talks to the lizard brain. That's who listens to $1 million as an offer to give up what you thought you believed your whole life for money. That's the lizard listening. Cha-ching, yes.
Same principle.
Bite.
Yes, same principle. if a politician can be paid to poison the water or allow a company to poison the water or oil the water, why couldn't a bigot politician be paid to love niggas, right? So you got your David Duke. We figure out how LeBron and them could have maybe somebody white be the middleman and pay a bunch of racists, right, to start pay David Duke to kiss Flavor Flav in the mouth.
Now, here's what might happen, Travis, is the large corporations are going to find out about this, and that what they might be doing instead then is they're going to start a bidding war to win those other white guys back again to the right-wing racist side of things. And so what they'll do is they'll have a marketplace, and they'll take the white guys' shirts off, and they'll row them up on a big stage, and the two groups will bid for them to win them over.
When you say stage, you mean like platform, like a slave platform?
Yeah, like a wooden
and then
platform.
Maybe they
they'll walk them up.
Yeah.
They'll take the shirt off, make them turn around a couple of times, and then let the bidding begin.
Okay. Well, how about this, Rick? How about we take this idea? Okay. How about we take this idea and we create a show and we call it Alternative Earths? What could happen? So basically, it's remember the old what if? We have to do like a what could be, woulda, coulda, shoulda. I don't know. I think it's
I love the idea of a what if. I think that's a great idea.
Okay, yeah. We have to come up with yeah. Why not? Instead of what if? Because what if is somebody like they did that with I think Marvel did that. Some comic books.
Well, lots of people. People are using what if. Man in the High Castle is what if. I mean, lots of things are what if.
Right. But instead, Rick, I got a better title for it. You ready? We call ours that we write together. We call it Why Not.
Yeah. All right.
Why not? Right.
Good.
Why not?
All right. Fair.
Why not world? Alternative universe.
Of course, we'll have to check on Google. We'll have to check on Google, make sure no one's got it, and, let's go through the routine, see who did it first, and then go from there.
Exactly.
So at least we have a way to find out.
Right. I won't release this clip, and I don't think anybody's even listening right now, so I'll go purchase whynot.com, right? And then, boom, we got us a new show to start creating where we create a why not world of why shouldn't it be this way? Why shouldn't it be? Why shouldn't it be better?
That's a great idea.
How about that?
I like it.
I love it. We just created it right here on the first episode of Talking Out Loud. Okay. Well, I think I don't know how long we've actually been going live, but you let me know when you have to go. Okay? Because this would be a good place to stop for part
my
one
bladder will tell us both when I have to go.
Okay. Great.
I'll be bladder-led.
I want to thank you for being my mentor muse on having me create this show in the first place. And you've been an inspiration. And, I know what I wanted to ask you. That's what I wanted you to do for me today. You ready for everybody? Let's make this be, I'm going to switch the episode. I'll make a cut here. This will be a different type of episode. We're going to go into the artist creation world here for this next question.
Okay.
This is the Laughter Academy, and today we have Rick Overton, comedian, artist, writer, actor, comedian. He was a part of the ensemble cast that made up the show I'm Dying Up Here on Showtime. My first question to Rick Overton, without even a greeting, because the greeting was on Thinking Out Loud, episode 1, season 1. And my question is, would you explain to our artist performer listeners, like we are infants, how to traverse the world of improv?
Well, I would say improv is maybe the most important defining thing that's ever I've let myself do. Hey, this is Rick Overton, and this is the It's Your Fault for Listening Network. Up next, Talking Out Loud with Travis Simmons.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you greatly. I'll talk to you soon.
Hey, talk soon. Good job. All right, we'll talk some more. Yeah, get this together and let me know how it goes.
That was so beautiful. Yeah. So I have a question for you.
Listen, before we go, I want to give you a note. We can't hear each other. Sometimes when the other person's talking and we're both going at once, it's because there's something about the sound we can't hear each other. Because I'll hear you flipping in while I'm talking like you couldn't hear me either. Maybe there's a noise cancel feature, but it's really about listening. It's really about listening to what the other person is saying. And really hearing it. So the whole time you're thinking about what you're going to say next, you're also completely listening to what they're saying. And sometimes you don't have to make a big reaction, but some kind of little reaction to it. Mm-hmm. To acknowledge it besides just, good, now here's the next question. Just a little something. It doesn't have to be big. And it can stay conversational. It's that kind of back and forth grace that a host has.
Okay, I will. Who are some of the greatest hosts that you would say I should maybe take a peek at, if there be one?
You know, there are very good hosts that would be on any show where they just talk. You know, like watch the
What
Green
about Steve Allen? Dick Cavett.
Steve Allen, yeah. Dick Cavett, perfect. Yeah. Yeah, and they listen. They're really listening to what you said, so their answers to each thing had to do with the response the guest gave. And it's not just go to next question. And then it's somehow the art is you heard the answer, respond to answer, and segue it into the next question. That's part of the fun improv for the host, is the art, the graceful art of that.
The graceful art of segueing,
blending and listening.
Thank you.
But it's listening to what the guest just said, so that you relate your way you say it to that, the response to that, in some way, big or small.
That's great information, because I hate watching interviews when the interviewee or doesn't respond to what the interviewee just said and just goes to the next question. Right. They do that a lot on the media network.
Look, it's your first show. You got a lot on your mind. You're trying to run a million things at once, and there's a ton of pressure and all that. And you did great. But for the future, it's like now you try this part.
Yes, my father said, "Good, better, best. Never let it rest. Yeah. The good is better, and the better is best."
Right.
Okay, talk to you soon.
And it'll eventually figure itself out. All right, my friend.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, love you.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Bye.
I love you too. Bye-bye.